Hello, I'm Dan Alford, and you're listening to Dan's Cadre of Experts. We've got some interesting guests on today, a couple of firsts. This is our first guest from Spain and the first woman on the Experts. So welcome, Joel and Francisco Rosic. How do you pronounce the last name?
Yes.
In Catalan, Rosic.
Catalan. So we're not Catalonians are trying to be separate from Spain, right?
Some of them.
All right. So our history. How did we meet? Tell the story.
You want
Was
me to
what? Yeah, 6 years ago.
6 years ago, we flew into Barcelona.
Flew to Barcelona. We pick you up, come to a place that we live like an hour west from Barcelona, and you went hunting.
Exactly. So you guys run a hunting operation.
Yes.
So this is like safaris except in Europe.
Yes,
Well,
safaris.
Safari hunting trips, whatever you want
So
to
if
call
it was in
them.
Africa, it'd be called a safari. So it's a
Right.
hunting trip in Europe. And what do you specialize in?
Well, pretty much in all the Spanish big game. Spain is pretty much the hunting preserve of Europe, believe it or not, because our terrain is a lot of mountains, different mountains. So we were able to save the species from extinction because the orography of Spain. So we have 4 different species of ibex.
And that's a goat,
It's a goat, yes.
mountain goat.
Is the goat family. We have 2 species of chamois or chamois, you call it, which is also kind of a goat. You know, like your actually the only relative is your Rocky Mountain goat,
I see.
which is in the American continent. So through years of first conservation, in the late 1800s, beginning of the 1900s, they create what they're being called later national preserves. So the game was back, and now I should say that the big game is having a bloom. There is more big game now than ever in the Spain Peninsula.
And there's a financial incentive for Spain to allow hunting.
Of course, it's a big industry. It brings a lot of tourists from all over the world, and a lot of families live on the hunting directly or indirectly. You know, restaurants, touring guides. Spain is a touristic guide because it's also in the south of Europe. So a lot of northern Europeans, they come to Spain to enjoy our weather, which is pretty much like Texas, you know, hot in summers, not very cold winters, except in the mountains, high in the mountains. And also our culture, which is kind of, I should say, happy culture. We enjoy life. We like, enjoy the food, enjoy our wines, enjoy the people who are friendly, smiling, hard workers in sometimes. In the south, not that much. We will not like that. But they're much more fun than we are in the north.
So you actually take your clients into your home. We stayed with you in your home, with you and your children. We ate at your table, and we
course.
hunted with you.
Yeah, that's, you go ahead.
Made us feel very
moved. Well, we had the hunting area for partridge before to find a home, and we were hunting, doing a driven hunt, and we say, wow, we should find something to live, a place. But of course, it's a really remote area. There is not many houses. So we were asking a friend, do you know a house that is for sale here? And we were just on top of the house. We said, this one. When I looked, it was like a square house, not really. I said, this one really? I said, yes. So it took me, we had to pass the fence to arrive to the house full of bushes, trees. It was covered. And we say, okay, let's go for it. And it's a house from 1884 that was half restored. And it took us...
It's fully restored now.
Now it's fully restored. It took us 1 year. We are really happy. We had our children at home. So we moved from Barcelona to the country. Good decision. Happy.
I think a lot of people that are listening probably don't realize that there's more to a hunting trip than the hunting. You know, to visit with you guys, what all did we do? Visited a cava place, which is...
Yes, Spain... You know, I'm from Belgium, so when I moved to Spain, I just wanted to study 1 year. Just Spanish is attractive, you know, for the rest of Europe it's attractive. Spain, good weather, you want to spend just 1 year. And this is when I met my hunter. It was a word that I didn't know nothing about hunting. And of course, in the beginning, it was just, do you want to join me on a hunt? And, you can visit around. So I started to, because I was a tourist too, so I started to visit around and, start to find places that I wanted to see, start to study more about the history of Spain, because we didn't learn any history in Belgium or Spain. It was like, after Franco and the dictator, it was like not a boycott on Spain, but yes, a little bit. I didn't learn anything about Spanish history. And after, when I started he said, do you want to be with me in the company? This is when I started, that will be an interesting part for the hunt, beside, for the wife to come to Spain. And I said, I wanted to share what I just discovered from Spain. Spain is beautiful. There is a lot of history. There is a lot of vineyards. So I was starting to find different places to visit. Barcelona is beautiful. So
you took us to Montserrat. That's an ancient monastery and very ornate church.
Mm-hmm.
Monastery, a big one. They have a choir of boys. It's spectacular. That's a choir of boys that they go to school there and they study and they live there. And it's not to become a monk. They're there just to sing, and they have to learn 2 instruments. And after, when they change their voice, they have to go to conservatory in Barcelona. But no, it's interesting. In Montserrat, a lot of people don't know. But when I explain Montserrat, there is an island in the Caribbean island that the name is Montserrat.
Yes.
Because when Cristobal Columbus was sent to discover the India, that was America, he lived from Barcelona. And of course, when they do a trip like that, they will always take a monk or a priest. So he took a monk from Montserrat. So the monk from Montserrat, that's why he named the island Montserrat.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. What else do we do? What's the big church there in Barcelona?
La Sagrada Familia.
Yeah, it's an ancient church, which is still incomplete, right?
They're doing very well lately, but still a while to go. And it's
under construction for hundreds of years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 150.
Right now, yeah. And it's it's done by Gaudí, which is kind of genius in architecture. He used techniques that nobody did before.
Mm-hmm.
It's worth it just to visit. Because I'm not good in architecture, but I'm amazed of what the ideas he came with, and all the ideas he took was from nature. The way big trees can hold such a big cup on top and a weight and not collapse. So he was using a lot of ideas from nature, and of course he put it in the technique of architecture. And well, he's known now as one of the genius of architecture in the world.
No, it's a fascinating trip for us, and that was the point I was trying to make. Is we came for a hunt, and we got a history lesson and a tour of your country. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, Spain is what it offers. Like us, where we have the house. There used to be vineyards at one point. But Phylloxera de la Vid, which is a little bug, actually brought from America in the late 1800s, killed all the vineyards in the Mediterranean, in Spain, Italy, and Greece. So the vineyards we have right now in Europe, they're original from Chile and I guess California in America, because our vineyards were done. There were no more. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if they brought a parasite or an insect to fight this. It's a little bug, is what it is, and it goes into the roots and kill the vineyards. And of course, the economy in our area was vineyards, were wine. All those farmers got broke. Suddenly, they didn't have a product to sell, so they start to allow the locals to build a house and do their harvest or the agriculture around for subsistence more than anything, in exchange of a part of whatever they were producing. That's why this is little farms all around that part. But at one time it was just vineyards. Actually, lately we bought the main house, who named the whole territory, which was in ruins, and in the hands of squawkers. We were able to fix some of the house because then pandemic came, money went out, so
No money came
no
in.
money came in, so we have to stop it for a while. But yes, Spain, other than hunting, is and the outdoors. Of course, you know those terraces that they're around the house. They were vineyards on one time. They were built thousands of years ago.
Thousands. See, there's nothing in Houston over a couple hundred years old, so I find it fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so why is it, okay, here, this is my impression, maybe I'm wrong, but in all of Europe, there's not much hunting with the exception of Spain. So how is it that Spain realized that this was not only economically a good idea, but it's good for the animals, in that we have to have predators if we eliminate the high-end predators? Tell me about why is Spain different? Tell me about hunting in Spain.
Well, I don't know if it's different, but yes, hunting in Spain, like most of the parts of Europe, is a tradition, and a tradition done by aristocracy, royalty, and today people who can afford it. You here in America, you have the right to hunt just because you were pioneers and you settled this wonderful continent. And it was a way to survive, you know, to harvest some of the animals that Mother Nature brought you. Over there, it always is like Robin Hood. Always was a privilege, you know, a privilege. And actually, most of the hunting preserves that we have in Spain, they were done or created by well-known hunters. Like most of the hunting, like the Zulu. Zulu was a hunter, and he created that sanctuary for the game. That's what a lot of people don't know, that hunters would just kill animals. No, we were the ones who start to do hunting seasons to be able to let them reproduce and have a good season next year. So in Spain, they start in the late 1800s, 1900, the beginning. And then during the Franco's dictatorship, he was also a hunter and also followed the traditions in Spain. And he really support the hunter community to create good different places to be able to hunt and have a good population of animals, you know.
So when I was a kid and, you know, I read about safaris, saw it on TV, I never thought that safaris would be going on in Africa or Spain, you know, 50 years later, right now. And yet they are. So how is it now? Is it sustainable? Will this continue? Is your industry doomed? Well, read it. Tell me what your crystal ball says. What's going on?
I would like to be optimistic.
Me too.
And I am. But the whole, at least in Europe, the whole movement is against hunting, against guns. Just to have a gun or enjoy gun, just if you're shooting trap or you're shooting targets. The concept is you are violent because you are using guns. And to kill animals is even worse. You know, how come you want to kill an animal? We don't kill animals, we manage the nature. If it, for instance, where you hunted your ibex,
right?
You remember we saw many.
What was that town?
Alfara.
That Alfara de Carles, which is right almost in the coast, is touching the national preserve of Tarragona. The Montes de Puertos de Tortosa y Beceite actually is the name of the peak, the highest peak, and Monte Caro is the highest peak, and over there is a national preserve, and they were protected, and in this case, too protected, because there were not enough tags to keep the population.
Which is a tag is a license.
It's
to
a
hunt.
license, and is running by the government. It's the ones who tell you how many you can hunt. Other, if you own the area, they tell you how many you can hunt a year. And the mentality was protection, protection, protection. And of course, we don't have wolves anymore. We don't have big predators to prey on them. So we are the ones who need to manage that. And they were very short in tags, in permits, license to shoot them. and the ibex start to populate too much, too many. And suddenly, now we're having problems because mange, which is a disease that is a little parasite, like in the tick family.
And that comes from overpopulation.
And I think nature regulates himself very well. You know, when it's an overpopulated species, creates, sounds strange, but that's what I think, creates suddenly a disease and wipe the population down.
And so when an ibex dies of mange, no one benefits. When I took the ibex, y'all benefited.
Mm-hmm.
We had a local guide also, and there was a fee to the city. Where all did the money go?
Well, most of the money goes to the villagers in those towns. If it wasn't for the hunting, of course, up there is no industry. There is not much, how do you call, ganadería, how do you say it, cattle anymore. Right. Because another thing they did, they outlaw bullfighting in Catalonia, my area, and that part of Spain or Catalonia was famous for the big bullfighting farms they were. But of course, if you outlaw the bullfighting, there is no clientele for your product. So they start to close those bullfighting ranches, and suddenly ibex was the number one income for the town to keep the economy going on. Of course, the local bars, the local restaurants, the local guide that you had. Right. So everybody was benefit about that. And now without ibex, that place is just living on tourism. Hikers, people who come there. But the reason for the hikers to go there was to be able to observe
the ibex.
But there is no ibex. So the protagonista, the star of the terrain was the ibex, and right now there is no ibex. So economy went down. Everybody's suffering for a bad administration or bad management by the Fed, in this case, a local game department, put it that way.
Have they acknowledged their mistake?
You know, these people work for the government, maybe the knowledge, but there is no responsibles because they put people in those places with a college degree in biology or whatever, but they are not from the area. They don't step in the mountains very often. Sometimes the locals, they have this wisdom brought by their ancestors that in the college they don't taught you how to. You know what I'm saying?
That's another reason we had a local guide, right? We walked for miles.
Mm-hmm.
It was real hunting.
Well, they know the passes because, as you saw, the mountains are deep and not very tall if you compare with your Rockies, but yes, very steep.
It was a rugged hike.
A rugged hike. And if you know the passes, the paths, your life is better. But if there is places that you cannot go, and they know, you can get in big troubles if you go there. You know, it's like you need to have some concepts in climbing that not just hiking. So it can be a dangerous.
So if I come back, we're not going to that area. The ibex are gone.
Yeah, if you come back, we're not going to go this area because it's going to take at least 20 years to start to have some ibex.
So are you out of business?
No, because I moved to another area. You know, I used to be 2 hours away from our house. Now we are 4 hours away. And he's traveling. You know, he's traveling fast. In the last 6 years.
You mean the mange is traveling?
Yes, the disease is traveling fast. And all from east to west is going inland. So he's getting less ibex. Well, they're dying. And so far in the areas we have, there is no cases. But close by, there is cases.
So it's coming.
It's coming soon. Yes. Well, unfortunately.
You will have to come for another one, not to repeat the Bisete ibex. You will have to do the Grados, the other one.
Well, that's an interesting thing. You guys been to my place out in the country, and we raise ibex, but they're Nubian ibex, and I believe those are from northern Africa, Lebanon, and such. Sudan. But I believe y'all told me that no one is allowed to export live Spanish Ibex.
Ibex. They're protected.
So that's the only place in the world.
Yeah.
Right now.
You got a monopoly.
Well, I don't know if there used to be one species in the Pyrenees, and as you know, the Pyrenees is a natural border with France. So I think the Spanish government sold some to reintroduce the ibex in the northern part of the Pyrenees, which is France. I don't know if they hunt them, but I know they are there. So in the future, I hope they will allow us to hunt. If not, they're gonna happen what happened with the ibex in the Besete. You know, somebody needs to do the management. Somebody needs to take some a year to keep the population healthy. You know,
And support the local economy, and that's what hunters do. Tell everybody the story. You know, the thing that was remarkable to me was your vultures.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we got the ibex, and then we keep it out. We take the meat, but there's always leftovers.
Mm-hmm.
And we were barely 100 feet away from the leftovers, and there must have been 24 vultures that attacked the carcass.
Oh yeah.
Tell the story. Why is that? Why were they so hungry?
Well, vulture is protected by a federal law since maybe more than 60 years now.
That's a good thing.
You know,
right?
That's a good thing because they clean, you know, the country from diseases, from all the carcasses. But of course, in the old days, there used to be people was working in the fields with mules or donkeys or horses. They had they had cattle who died for not natural causes or for diseases, and they left it there so the vultures were able to eat. By now, with the new laws, if you have let's say cattle and one of your cattle dies, you have to call to the service and they come and take that cattle away, burn it, put it somewhere else. So the vultures, they don't have the resources of food they used to have. The ones they have is the hunting preserves that they know when.
They knew what we were doing. They were following us.
Oh yeah, they are. When you start walking and start hiking up, they follow you. Mm-hmm. They know sooner or later, and when they sound, you fire your gun, they're ready. And when you leave, just like you saw, in 100 yards, they come over there and eat as much as they can. There were cases they were attacking live cattle too because they were so hungry. When a cow was having birth, of course, it loses a lot of protection.
Yeah.
And they were attacked that cow, killed the calf, and wounded the cow badly. So trying to get food is a very natural instinct,
So once again, we've distorted nature and created problems.
We human beings, with our with our way of being, we pretty much broke, I call the chain of nature. So we have to manage. If not, it's gonna be a disaster like is happening right now with the ibex in Besete. It's happening with the chamois in the Cantabrian Mountains many years ago. There were way too many. They overprotected, not allowing anybody to hunt them, and suddenly there were too many. Mange came and wiped the 90% of the population of the chamois. Same with the ibex is happening right now. So we are necessary. Hunters are necessary. Other than bringing money and and business to the local areas, which has the less wealthy areas, because as I said, there is not industry or other ways of getting business. And I don't know what else to say. It's just, you have to add something.
No, that's perfect.
Perfect.
So let's back up. Okay, before you started this venture, what did you do? Tell us your history.
Well, I was born in a family. My father is a hunter, still around, and I grew up.
How old are you?
I'm 63 now.
See, so I'm 1 year older than you. So same generation.
That is 98. So, but he doesn't hunt anymore. But I grew up hunting partridge with my dog and with my dad and with my dad folks every weekend and during the hunting season. Then summertime in the coast, fishing and enjoying the.
Then I heard a rumor you shot a few pigeons in your time.
That was later on when I was able to pay myself the fees to go to compete in pigeon shooting, which is also a expensive sport if you want to do it, but there is good prices if you are good. And I was pretty good.
I've seen some trophies at your house.
Some?
And I start, competing and not having enough time and enough money to do it, but because it required a lot of time, weekends long.
Nobody pays me to hunt,
Right.
but you got paid.
Well, I had some sponsors, plus because I was good enough, I was getting some money back of the expenses. And I was lucky enough to win the Spanish championship. First of all, the local Catalonian championship, then the Spanish, then the European, and then the world championship.
Oh, you're world champion.
Yes, sir. I was lucky
impressed.
enough to do it in year 2000, so a few years ago, when I was a young 40 years old guy.
And you're still doing bird hunts.
Yes, and then we start to do at the house, at the area we have. We did some management to have more partridge. It's difficult because most of the predators are protected.
Right.
So you do a lot of effort and you put money, and the predators are very happy, but I cannot touch them.
You're feeding all these
Right.
things.
So I'm welcome there because I'm bringing, a lot of predators. They were only almost extinguished, like hawks, royal eagle is like your golden eagle, and many other species. And
And they
yes,
like pheasant too.
yeah, but pheasant is not natural from Spain, so I didn't do any
Oh, see, this is partridge.
partridge,
Sorry.
red-legged partridge. So yes, we start to do a big effort to bring the partridge population back. We have to help them, meaning that I have to put some birds in summer, for they will be ready for autumn to be hunted. But I'm losing easy 40-50% of them because predators.
At least when I hunted them, none of them were injured.
You did well. Come on.
You wanted to preserve
I was out of the kindness.
species.
So, tell us about the wild boars. You're saying that's become a problem.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, most of the rural areas that are getting abandoned, people, just big corporations of agriculture can live on agriculture. The little agriculture, they need to move. There is no new generations of young people who want to be an agriculture or because it's not other than the agriculture is subsidized. We have a saying in Spain that an agriculture guy born rich because when he born in his family there is land, there is machinery, and there is all of that. But when he dies, he's poor again because he needs to renew the machinery, the taxes, and everything. So it's not a great business if you are small. So a lot of rural areas are being abandoned, and nobody live there anymore. So wild boars, they start to reproduce like rats. We
have the same trouble in Texas with the wild hogs, and they're dominating the landscape.
They cause a lot of damage to the agriculture. Of
Same.
course, a lot of traffic accidents, car accidents. Of course, people complain while we hunt them, but then when they have an accident with a wild boar, they said, where are the hunters? Where are the responsibles of that? So in one side, we are the responsibles of what happened in nature, but in the other hand, they don't let us do what needs to be done.
You can't win.
Right. I think the whole world is getting that way pretty much right now. So I would like to be optimistic, but I don't know. Let's see how the mentality of the people, we need to educate them because most of the people talks from the no knowledge about what they're talking about.
Well, that's part of what we're talking about today. So, we call it conservation through commerce here in Texas. And so there's a lot of animals in Texas that are thriving now because of hunting. And so, I'm hoping that your industry survives in Spain and thrives like it is here in Texas, but remains to be seen.
Let's see. I hope so because, I have a son and, the new generations, I want them
Does he want to take over?
If there is possible, he will love to because he thinks it's easy. It's not that easy.
Doesn't know the truth.
Right. It's not that easy. And but there is more societies or people who is getting in the business of hunting as a good way of having a different life. I don't want to say it's a great business because it's not, but yes, it's a good way of live your life, a lifestyle, put it that way. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot of youth coming, trying to make his position in the market. So that's good in one side. In the other side, it's more competition. So it's bad for me, but competition is always good. It's always make you be better, put it that way. So, as I said, I would like to be optimistic, but I don't know yet. I don't know yet what is going to happen. Mm-hmm.
Jolie, tell us your history. Where were you born?
Well, yes, I was born in the Congo, which is now Republic Democratic of Congo, which was the Zaire at the time of...
Nowhere near Spain.
No. I was born in Congo, and I moved to Belgium when I was 4 years old. So my mother's from Congo and my father from Belgium. So that's a mix, and I was raised and I studied in Belgium all my life in Belgium. And when I was 26, I just wanted to experience Spain and learn Spanish. And I decided to move and try 1 year. I never came back.
I find it fascinating. I've never considered leaving America. So, you bold, adventurous people that just leave your country and then go find a new life. I don't understand it, but it seems to be working for you.
Yeah. And, in Europe, distances are not really far. I mean, Barcelona, Brussels is an hour and 40 minutes flying.
Right.
So
you could drive 12 hours in Texas and still be in Texas.
Yes. Right. So it's not really challenging, I will say that. And it's attractive, Spain, for the rest of Europe. Because after I have many friends that came to Spain to live. And Spain has the weather. It's not maybe what will be the salary, but the weather. In Belgium, we can have 300 days of rain a year.
No, thank you.
So, and days of foggy and rain. And so when you move to a country like Spain, that finally looks like when you have good weather, it looks like you don't need much more. And, just have, and the way they live also, they enjoy life, and they like to have the breakfast, they like the tapas, the afternoon drinks, and it's another rhythm. And so it will be hard for me to come back to Belgium, I have to say. I love my country. I go back every year. But yes.
When was the last time you went back to Congo?
To Congo, I was 16, so I will not say my age, but some years.
It's been a while. So this company, your company, is called Hunt Spain, right?
Hunt Trip Spain.
Hunt Trip Spain. And how many employees do you have?
Well, all year round.
You two.
No,
we have 2 more people. We have 4
all
year long.
So there are a few others. So
yeah, and after guide during the hunting season, we cannot do all the.
We have big game guides, and then when we do the bird hunting, then that day I have to hire close to 50 people. Between beaters, loaders, drivers. When you need.
So the company grows.
You need to move an army, which is getting more difficult every year to find people, because the ones they're good, they're getting old, and there is no new people. No people move to the cities.
Need to train them. That's what we just walked through my factory. You saw I'm training the youngsters. You got to do the same.
Yeah, it's what I'm doing. The friends of my son, friends of my friends. I mean, the son of my friends are right now my guides. People that I know that I can trust, and they come from good families, with good ethics. And it's not that easy to find, let's say, a guide. He needs to speak English to start with, to have some manners, to know a little bit about history, be a good guide in the fields. Mm-hmm. So it's a complete. And it's not that easy. But like you said, we're training. But what happened when you train a guide, and it happened to me many times, when they learn already, they became their own boss. And
become a competitor.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, I've got the same problem, but that's the only way it works. You got to do it.
Right. But I think it's the way it is.
So what's your role in the company, Jolie?
So I'm
website. right?
The office.
The
So
office.
me, my job is in the office, and also to take care of the ladies when they come.
Mm-hmm.
So during the day when they go hunting, I will take them and visit the areas. It can be close to a place or in the south of Spain or close to Madrid or Gredos, whatever we are hunting. So I will take them. I learn, or we just talk about what they would like to see, or showing around the main or the most emblematic place that I consider that it's a must see when you come to Spain.
So,
Always.
but y'all are definitely in business together.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're a team. He's the outdoor. I'm the
We're
indoor.
partners. We're partners in the business, and to be honest, with today's technology, and I'm sorry, I'm just from the country. She does all the internet things that I'm lost in those things.
And we'll get to that, how to find you in a little bit. Why are you in Houston this week?
Well, we're attending a show that is being held for the last at least
30 years.
30 years, and I'm attending since 1987.
That's the Houston Safari Club
Houston
annual show.
And through the years, of course, we met a lot of hunters, a lot of friends now, and it's a very happy place to come. To be honest, I love the weather. It's much better than in the northern states, and the people is also. I don't know what you have Texans, but yes, you can be Spanish or we can be Texans. You enjoy life. You are
Fairly cheerful.
happier faces. I think it's the weather makes you happier. The sun makes you happier. Yeah.
So that's part of your business. Every year, you guys have to travel across the ocean because most of your clients are what? American, German, what?
Well, we have English, we have Germans, we had Russians when it was possible, but the best client by far, and right now is 95%, is American hunters.
And you find them through these safari shows. I saw you guys in Dallas at the Dallas Safari Club. So you do that show too.
Yeah, we do several shows. It depends, the schedule and how we can get organized. Safari Club, International, Houston Safari Club. There is many shows around, but concentrated in Dallas. So, yes.
And there is several branches of Safari Club International that we try to attend, like little chapters. Not everybody goes to the big shows,
Well, that's how I met you guys. I don't know if you recall, but it was from the Hill Country.
The Hill Country.
The Hill Country.
Yeah. And you guys had donated a hunt, and I bid on it in the auction, and that's how we met, and the rest is history. But that was from Kerrville, I believe. So.
Kerrville, yes, sir. The Hill Country. I had a lot of friends over there,
Mr. Fallon, I believe, is the one that probably twisted your arm and got you to donate that one.
Mr. Fallon is an old friend, yes. And also, I have to say that when I first came to the United States, I don't know if you met Louis Schreiner from the Schreiner family of the Wire Ranch, and he was so nice that opened his ranch for us, because in between shows are mostly on weekends, so you have those days in between that you don't do nothing but sitting in the hotel room. So he said, come to our ranch, and we had a ball over there, having fun, margaritas, and in exchange we shot some game. Was
So that's going on this weekend. So anybody's listening to this, I don't know when we're going to post this. Might already be over. But I encourage people to go to these safari shows. I think it's too much fun. I've met so many good people like you guys at these shows, and I've gotten to travel all over the world. And this is how you get introduced. So I recommend these shows.
Yeah, and it's, you have outfitters, hunters. There is also jewelry. There is clothing.
Guns,
there is
taxidermies.
guns, there is taxidermy, and just to walk around is a fun day, even with the family, to walk around and to
we share the passion of outdoors. I don't want to say just hunting. It's outdoors. We're outdoors lovers,
We were with you guys for a week, and we went hunting for a day.
Yeah, pretty much.
You were lucky.
Well, we had good guides that day. It worked out well. So, I don't know. What else? What else you guys want to talk about? I really appreciate you coming on today, but what did I miss? Well,
I think we go wrong.
Well, what are you missing about us or Spain, which is pretty much what brought us over here? I think Spain is a big country. It's like Texas, a little bit smaller than Texas. So, but the south is very different than the north. Mentality, cooking, way of seeing life. The east is different than the west. So, Spain deserves to use some time and try to travel all over to live the different. You know, in Spain we speak 4 different languages in Spain.
right. I was surprised by that. You know, the second guide we had, I couldn't understand a word he said, and I speak a bit of Spanish, but not a bit of what he spoke. What was he using?
Catalan. Catalan is what we speak in the north east, but we speak also Gallego, which is closer to Portuguese, which is in the northwest. Then Basque, that nobody knows where it come from, and it's speaking pretty much in the north, in the middle of north, and it's kind of a weird culture with a different way of seeing things. I think what gives you Spain is different way of living, of cooking, of thinking, of products. I mean, it's worth it to spend more time in Spain. So we're waiting for you to come back.
Oh, we had a splendid time when we're planning on coming back. So how do people find you? If we've got them interested now, how can they contact you?
They can check our web page, which is www.handtripspainaltogether.com.
HUNTRIPSPAIN.
Yeah, .com.
Okay. And you got photos up on that. I think Johnny's going to do some cutaways, right, Johnny? And so he'll do some cutaways during this video, but on the podcast you won't be able to see that. But some of the photos, because you've got a lot of interesting stuff on your website, so that'll give people a feel for it.
All the trophies available in Spain, all the touring, what you can see, and all the information, all the hunter that we have hunted with, and well. Just have a look at the webpage.
And you will make everyone feel welcome in your home. I did.
Oh, yeah.
We try our best. I think.
All right, so I look forward to seeing you guys this weekend down at the show. And you're coming back next year, right?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, maybe we'll need an update because I really feel like this industry is critical to conservation all over the world. So I'm hoping you come back next year and we do this again and you tell me that like maybe the mange problem and the boar problem is getting better.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. So. They said by shooting we're not going to be able to put the boar population down by shooting them. Well, if they allowed us to do or extend the hunting season, we can do it.
And that's what they've done in Texas. Now it's 365 days on the wild hogs. So
that's one thing. Or let us hunt at night, which is where they move around.
Well, that's legal in Texas again. So tell them we're doing it in Texas and it's working.
Hope so.
Well, thank you for coming on the show today, and I'll see you at the George R. Brown Convention Center for the convention, and we'll get you back on next year.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you for let us be here.
Enjoyed
Thank
it.
you.